Really.
Yeah, so the first one is you need to stay independent so as not to lose your true priorities.
他这种还是是呢，做这个做这里头，让破除这个让你根本这就行了，我这有吧，马上了我这就行了，我蛮久我是过来也是，初心吧是过来是啊，人吧是心吧是在人别中了是过来的，这是人吧是过来也是，我真的他人吧是过来也是，人吧是过来也是。我这说让人呢，这现在话，自己让现在可能那口头就是你偏被采取的口头这其他人马上了，这是他这话的马弄的是口头这是多，我他这话的我让说见了，没谁在意呢，他这话的说，他在当官写下去了，没谁的，说，这当在要不说让要不说这没谁的马弄的是，他们在其他的要不的，这里马上了我真求啥呢？这里得是干来看不有的是，看的是呢。托马西的在说要不去的要不这别想着相当于在阿拉同样的最近呢，在阿拉同样的在空送的去那这里，但没这当要不我呢阿拉同样民多嘛到不起，这没事就这种呀，这就穷多，这超过让我们讲的我可以来嘛，可能没要不我嘛，这穷人啊都上票都在马来西亚，这穷人上票，所以他们都啥子他们偏到没都是，我这政治那边很多的呢，我下面把它空。我真的这哪没把这把说就了这个来考不的是，我他妈这说这点的在马诺吧写下的我的是，我真的差不多现在这些让些特别接受那偏多写到一个马的是，我真正的中学了吧。
So what this line is saying is that so this priority, the true priority, so it's the thing that's most important to us in our life. That is what we have to be clear on, what's really important, and then we have to follow through with that unmistakably. And so we have to stay on track, which is like a commitment to our values, our priorities. If we don't have these priorities, then we will run into difficulties. Because, for example, even in a mundane sense, there's a person who might be a good person to start with, and then they start drinking alcohol, they become addicted, they can't stop anymore, and their whole life just takes a different course. And then his friends may say that first he was so great, but now he can't stop no matter what we say. Nothing, there's no benefit, nothing helps. And that's because that person is addicted, is too much into his habitual patterns. And then once we are in those tracks, then it's very difficult to change course, to change that around. So that's why it's important to set our priorities straight in the beginning, to begin with, and before we do anything, have our priorities straight, and without deviating from it.
我在这当然说，但是说让我怎么样去查，所以我是你呢，这在他们中堂起步呢，这肯定呢，这先把人老板嘛起的，我这先把老板来拯救嘛，这是那别的。但这应该做其他的就今天可以呢，在偏偏小吧，刚做有点老气。我这出去在马诺尔吧，马诺尔过来是，其实蛮久吧是马诺尔过来是。我这就在那让说他当的是他前脚就比没有长的了吧，我没有长的那天别出去要的，出完了我这就马诺尔吧，咱们开始是出去要，那就跟了偏偏，咱们马诺尔吧这里是的，我这就真的我说。在起过的是真的，就我就本来的小生活的是，出跑的路出了都是出到这些我自己跑的出了东西，出当给呗，那个公司出不去那个那个是不帮个是，出当推别就把其实我在出当推别就把其实，但出当推别就把的这今天学习了上周了嘛，前面给的这个没给就买起我去上周了去，我真出就把就去去那这样做，那几年了。偏头有交接差不多是吧？我现在我在球上对比就把西国的种多球接。
And so it's important to set our priorities straight because it's no matter how maybe competent or good we were, and later it's difficult to change things. And so what does it mean to have a priority? What priority do we need to have? It's not really about being able to be successful in different things, but the main thing is to not harm anybody else. And to try to benefit others as much as we can, whether we engage in a mundane activity or in a Dharma activity. So that's really the priority. And so now we have a precious human body with the 18 freedoms and advantages. And we have also encountered the Holy Dharma. And with that, it's important that we really have our priorities of what we're going to do with our lifetime. And so the Dharma really is our best companion. So this altruistic intention is our best companion in our lifetime. It's the unmistaken companion. Lord Atisha had said that the Dharma we have to aim, our Dharma aim has to be in the long term, for future lives. And therefore, abandon mundane activities and practice the Dharma, and meaning that engage in activities that accord with the Dharma. And so that even if we do mundane things, we can still do mundane things, but while we do those things, it's important to sustain this priority of love and compassion continuously, and that will be of benefit in the long run, also in future lifetimes.
真的，我从今天从这公车上有啊，没求记住，他就那件意思，没求记住，所以说他从这个方面没求记住些，但没求记住，他这给我就提纲了，他这给这顾客企业的商务了商量企业，他这里种科学节约了啊。我这说起的同大经呢，他就肯定接的是的，那个几块的是，我没求来劲，他运作把他们是没求的也不需要劲的，他运作呀，他那个要嘛的一种的话，我真没求记住的，他就是同大几块是的，那个是没上报起，提前的，说了偏讨有的，我他没求那企业了，推荐做么样的，没上报就中国的也是，我真的，我听对的，
And then Lord Chichen Sungen had said in the Gongchik that and he quoted something Gampo, and so he said that so Songtsen Gampo had 16 guidelines for proper human behavior. So these 16 guidelines are, so there's the 10 virtuous actions that we should practice, and then on top of that there is 4 additional guidelines, which is reflection, and then being respectful to one's parents, and so on. So there's basically 16 things that we should guide us on our path, and so he referred to that as the 16 kind of divine or godlike activities. And one is not far from the godlike states, even if one is a human being. But the main point he said is actually to it's all included within compassion.
我真的在求这边在六期啊，在开情报的是，我真的老婆咱做上街这边，在这边的在老忙有吧，这边推手有吧，可能推手特别有吧，真开情报的，那希望嘛送了去呢，那还讲开起来是，但希望在送在求送到街头干嘛的，提起没听我送去过的，听就去过的，我真的你看在求几天你看，我千万不在这边搞来搞不，我真的希望嘛送了去呢，真的让可能。让是样的求这边的结果的也是，我 这这这么大的别种药，你嘛，我现在没太清楚这注意的话题呢。可是那他我了这呢，让过让跟我别求吧，那样子，那他过是那他把加工让跟我追，让过动了，求吧那样子，那他没得钱呢，我说退休期吧，求吧那样都是。我的那他们的的开始吃就从的，就把就让他去嘛，就把那都是我们那里的这种这种药啊，我这我这在这个做这个路现在在就那就哪里，他就哪里没就哪，可能呢在上坡前同年旁边把戏呢，我在提口学的是，我这里在这种西上蛮就我提口学的是。我真的在那做强制性保，在国民党说点把上去的，我这同志可我的是在做你们那些这东西上面就我现在你们那这做很多，像车界、绿界、商界做图样，我挺就去呢啊，别从西国学的这种学才。
So it's important that we use our time that we have and when we can to practice the Dharma and to practice toward attaining enlightenment, because now we have the freedom to do that and we have the time, have the surrounding, the opportunity to practice the Dharma. So at this time, it's important not to to lose your autonomy, because if you lose your autonomy, so basically if others control you, then you have no opportunity to accomplish anything. You can't practice the Dharma or do anything in the world too. Then anything will become difficult. So now while you have the opportunity, you have to practice the Dharma. Amila Reba said, and that's actually in one of the small books that Garland printed, it says that a yogi who is led around by others on the nose rope is always suffers, always miserable. The yogi who is free from the control of others is a yogi that's always happy. And therefore, do not become controlled by others. Do not allow them to pull you by the nose rope, and do something meaningful in this lifetime. And if you dedicate yourself to that, then you will realize the meaning of Mahamudra and attain enlightenment in a single lifetime, in a single body. And so this is what we should strive toward.
你把这台巴上专注，这那面感情做把心，结果是那多，对了吧？
Then next, second verse is, you need to follow the words of a sublime guru with faith and diligence.
我打台巴的忙起来是台巴的忙起来的，这当马上说这打台巴是悄悄的呢，台巴去悄，你看悄的呢，台巴去呢。这把是那那个的连度我那个就那马上说，那个是连图个的。我这那个这那个这我说路边的是个这是老我那个这也不轮到上，所以这些这些也不轮，但是这也不拉手呢，也不是的，蛮多上的，这些也都可以。这这马上说，我这当就那他们去见对面在了，然后那就他们去见对面在了，然后那说我这把就开清楚的修改的呢，这里弄的话，我这也是，但是没他没办法弄谁，然后这把这是了，但对吧弄这些啥的，
So is faith here. Faith is the foundation for Dharma practice, and actually for anything that we do in the world also, or in the Dharma. Whatever you want to accomplish, you need to believe in that. Only if you believe in what you do, only then will you want to do it, and you will actually do it, and you will accomplish it. For example, if you want to learn something from a teacher, and you believe in that what the teacher is telling you, then you will learn a lot from this teacher. But if you don't really believe in that teacher, and you think that who knows if that's really true, then you really won't learn much. So it is said that all phenomena, everything depends on the intention. So therefore, direct your intention appropriately, properly. And so that is the meaning of faith here. It's this intention, this that beliefs, and that is really, really indispensable.
我这顶上不可以在日末的个我有，可能日末发下，日末录用起呢。这些人都做，反正有多，可能说在对吧？介绍这有咯，我这都录用了，这有的，这就那在那一说，但这把开心不的也是，我当多是说呢，这把民能这个不用的没解释，这把民没是说那个不用的这个嘛，也是从个话，个不用的生活没这把有个人不清醒，生活没这种那的，现在呢，现在这个嘛话，我这那也是，我这种有啊。
remote year 这个。
他别下不了，这不可以，但是录用这里人么看我都人么清，那人么写啥的都真的咱们都一样，这不是说人么讲样的，我可以让在听那个，咱说讲呀，该说说讲的也不需要很多，我这里都是听梦的这些，这一听我真的有口来是。
So, for example, some children have like a tendency. They have different like tendencies, and some children, for example, they really drawn to drawing things, and so then often parents then kind of like reinforce that because that's the tendency that they have. So that this tendency is this belief and this aspiration. And they believe that that this is what I can do and what I want to do, and this is why they often turn out really talented, really good. It is said that if you have no faith, if you don't believe, then you will not develop any qualities from any kind of field of knowledge. It is that it is just like when you burn a seed. Then no sprout or stem or sprout can grow from it.
我真的工作在领导做就听到了，可是我说呢，特别是工作去嘛的为是嘛，那要解压的为是，我这有点同志中学排除的，有点同志要从真排除的也是，突破这一块系统的也是，新的去哪也是，去了跑多了吧，能做出的也是。特别的但中间在对我在多呀，中间的是，呀，中间在多现在做特别的，在中央的或是，特别你就会想怕糖特别的是，真的我家是怕帮特别的是，我真的，我特别是农人的我的是，特别是那个旁边农村那了，在特别有软的，我这特别农人的我的是，这样的我的是。我的这样也是，我真的给我甚至做真的呢，给我甚至 drop 出来的，用个也是。
And so then there's a sutra called the precious like lamp sutra. It's a Dala sutra, and so in there it says that the faith is like a mother that gives birth, from which all good qualities arise, and it will once it arises, it will clear away all doubts. It is like you have an intention of going to a town, a place, and you are able to go there. You believe in your direction. And also, if there is faith, you will give up pride. And it said in that sutra that faith is like precious jewels. But there is this 7 riches or noble riches, and one of them is the precious jewel. So it's like this noble rich, and noble wealth. And it is the noble jewel that makes you accomplish anything virtuous, anything wholesome.
我真的在这边用的就当个过去是这样排除呀，特别排到有的是，我在这边明年个过去的就要嘛的，就这样那样的对用是，我这用那出特别的，在军中那这样真都这是，我这种多，我这边在那点呢，没当起话的，过来年没来准备做产图个这是，我被在他有是，这边这样就写完了是吧？这边这样就写完了是，就写我这可能是那给为一年的那这边这样，除了这边这样多。给为一年了，给为一年，那么给为一年的呢，特别节特别的，然后呢，除了特别节之后，那给特别节特别，然后呢，在没啥的过为年的没来准备之后钱呢，特别节特别，然后呢，在多的什么的时候，大家当特别节特别，我甚至就写的特别，别写单呢，多的， 什么很多的呀，头什么有把做的说的特别这样，我这里特别些，这接受不了有的意思。
And so when faith arises, then you will think more about impermanence and suffering of samsara, karma, cause and effect, and so forth. And actually, it also these reflections affect your belief, and so it grows stronger. So, but if you have faith, all good qualities, all like virtuous qualities increase, and without faith, those virtuous qualities become obscured. It is said that there are four causes of faith, and that is ways in which faith can arise. The first one is it can arise from a spiritual teacher. Secondly, it can arise from a friend, a companion. Third, it can arise through reflecting on the impermanence of life, the suffering of samsara and karma. And fourth, it can arise when reading the sutras or the scriptures.
我真的到提倡尊重过的时候，说尊重这种客气嘛，尊重没那个话题，主要是没拿起来。我要做这个往去往这个吧。那时候后背景尊重点多了一空配，尊重点是用多弄，但是呢，这是空没配弄个的是。我真的尊重提起过的。都差不多吧。那都在弄到西的那，这是一空配弄个是有点不大呢，没配弄个，一空弄。我这配弄个的是都到西，那有点不在大的呢，我尊重呢，别晓得他。我这来不出来，我这哪把上去去问他，这尊重过出来是，这就可能中港给了做吧是，中港用尊重起啊，这给吧了做吧，我听对意思，我听对了做，我这尊重怎么样？开心不的。这里尊重是要不期间让些给吧的千万 drop 出来的，我就不 drop 出来，这尊重没啥没法的事。我若碰到我这块时间，有的是体课这种事呢，用天嘛的尊重接受，用天嘛的尊重接受的意思。说那不做错那么你就是说那不做他说那么错的一些错题那边你觉得也中多。
And then also it mentions in this verse here, so and also diligence. You need to follow the words with diligence, and so because if you're not diligent, then you cannot really accomplish anything good, anything virtuous. Because when you're not diligent, you're lazy. In the Tibet, we have a saying that says, if one who is diligent is like someone like rubbing a rock with persistence. If you keep rubbing a rock, eventually it will make a hole in the rock with enough perseverance. And so that's the kind of diligence we need to develop and we practice the Buddha Dharma. In the Bodhicharya Vatara, it says that the definition of diligence is it is a delight in virtue. And if you're diligent, you will accomplish everything good and you will accomplish it very quickly. And then the Master Chandra Kirti had said, diligence is the basis, the source of all good qualities. It is the source from the perfection or the accumulations of merit and wisdom arise.
我这种这里的宗主者，我的宗主者也提供的，但是那种让的前把宗主者有人特别出现或 drop 出来是，第一步没能其他 drop 出来，刚才看我的也是我这印度，我这种提把的宗主者开心不的是，我这印度那种这个 drop 过的也是，其他人说推广。我今天吃饭去，那中午明天吃饭就drop 出来了吧？这中午吃过去的也是，我今天吃饭的今天中午汤面吃饭，都别吃饭，他的一切别吃饭中午了吧？我这中国人把现在今天中午就是一般的是往吃的，开始吃的时候呢，汤面吃饭去了，去了这么吃饭，那也是汤不在汤碗去修这个，这点不起来也买来中午吃的。 완도비 대바드 살을 못 치바 나 이래서 담보 남아 가지고 예치치 소소소 나 저서 보면 도바지 소소들 상제 톱도 좀더 요바시 항상 더 강인 디스트리나 티아스 스테이트를 치마도 바시 어서 살을 못 치바 나 보다 예치베 대바드 다 남아 가지고 상제 다소 예치바시네 예치베 대바드 도를 못 치바 나 차를 못 치바 나 레종도 보다 라트 예치베 대바드 너무 더强도
And therefore, if you never separate from faith and diligence, you will be able to accomplish any dharma. But without faith and diligence, it will be very difficult to accomplish anything. And so therefore, they are very important. And also in a mundane sense, we cannot accomplish anything in the world without diligence. And then regarding faith, there's these three kinds of faith, and Jigden Sumgun gave an example, because these three kinds of faith, he said they arise gradually, one after the other, and so one is more stable than the other. So the first one is the clear faith, and that's the least stable one. And he said that the clear faith is like drawing an image on water, so it won't stay there, it's not very stable. And then the second is the longing faith, and so here we long for enlightenment, and there is some faith and belief in the Lama and the jewels, but then sometimes when we encounter difficulties, then we are not so diligent anymore. So it's still somewhat unstable, and so this is like drawing an image on earth. And then the third one is the trusting faith, and so that's the most stable one. So this is where we have complete faith in the three jewels and the Buddha, and that is like carving an image on a rock. So that's the best kind of faith.
Den da var genom att kontrollera som de kan så sen tambe chu chi la ni shu shu na se de tambe chi chi la ni shu na rang ju dan ga du xin kan zhe chao bo sai xin kan de biao sai no ta gu san chao bo gui ge jia ku ge wo ten du ba zhen qian qiu so de du ya ke ren jian qiu su ge de yes wo ten ne zhong zhu qin qin lo bei zhong zhu zang bu ma le sang de fa qi ya la zhong zhu zang jiu le wa wo de su zhong zhu ma zang ma qi wo ten ne qiang jiu san na ba ni la yang ba shang de zhong zhu And
Jigden Sumgun said that if you practice the Dharma with this faith and diligence, then your practice will increase like the waxing moon, and the blessings of the Dharma will enter your heart. And when the blessings of the Dharma enter your heart, then like a kind of a precious crop will grow on a field and on your field, and that is like the kind of the fruit will grow from your heart, and that will be like literally it's like a solid fruit, like a stable fruit. And so then Jigden Sumgun said, however, diligence should be applied only toward virtue. You should not be diligent in anything. So, for example, you should not be diligent in corrupt things like misdeeds and negative actions. But your diligence has to be founded in the twofold bodhicitta.
강사 중용 시바 라마 담배 담바 마노르바 시고 정도 타티 그런 저를 지금 그런 자바 들어봐.
And then moving on to the third verse, you need to select instructions of your guru unmistakably by understanding the difference between the instructions on faults and on qualities.
강사 쓰는데 맞습니다. 그래서 강사 쓰는 초진에 뭐 거나 고고 지금 뭐 거기 강사 써야 되는데 제가 강사 쓰면 되는 사람 미게 와지. 네 강사 쓰는 말만 오로야 사라고. 호텔에 강사 쓰는 말 거지. 사 쓰는 강사 Concept
Mirvak.
Concept machi, sauce and mat, make a chili marsano, bro. What it on our coat. That's a good to the Lando.
So?
Don't think you want to see what you're to send over. That's in the West.
That's it, Anne.
Goes to Lando. What that? Today, what they do, they don't have to pay Chandra, giving it catching the child, giving it till then, so you can't hear the answer you not people is. They shall you can't coffee or is. That's on Maru, suppose that you Maru Chavez. One but you, then I touch child these. You is what they try giving it. They are the catching board child or is. What I give in until then, you don't catch a young yaboris now. Join you against a young. The yabo must bet and I don't. One yabo Marayon Tango could done us. What a chigo is.
So here and so in English it says you. In the Tibetan it literally says a person should select. So this term for person or individual is it's Kangsak in Tibetan, and so actually it has two syllables, and if you separate those two syllables, they each mean something else. So Kang actually refers to a person, and then Sak literally means falling down. So basically the Tibetan word for person is that which falls down, and so that's actually explanation by Radzedawa, scholar in Tibet, Radzedawa, and so since a person is that which falls down, it's important for a person to follow a virtuous friend, a spiritual teacher, from whom we can learn good qualities or assimilate good qualities. And so for that, we need someone, a guru, a spiritual teacher who also possesses these qualities, because they will kind of rub off onto us. For example, if you put red color on, if you rub yourself on someone who is red colored, then you will also be red colored. And if you rub yourself on someone has blue color, then you will have blue color. So basically, it will rub off onto you. And so that's the point is that we shouldn't just follow any spiritual teacher, but it should be a productive relation where when you follow that teacher, actually you develop good qualities. Then if you would develop negative qualities through that teacher, that would, of course, not something that we want to pursue.
我在这边有一年在长坡上做这，超给一年的在七八的、九八的，这做的是到现在今年我的是长坡店呢，看在今年我的是，我在这是到六中期，是六中期呢，到零年是那个干子要不用的也在也拉充电，就是电源，我在开心不了，我在那也是电源，给干要不这个是那一个都，这给一年才要不这个的是，我前几趟电把谁有那就有那开心不的是。
And so that means that before you follow a spiritual teacher, it is good to examine that teacher, to observe that teacher, that friend's conduct, their behavior, and then decide whether or not you want to follow that person. And then once you follow that person, then you should focus on studying and learning things from that person. It's just like when you want to learn something from a normal teacher, first you want to make sure that the teacher actually is qualified in what he's teaching. So you want to have a good teacher, and then once you decide that that's a good teacher, then it's time to learn and focus on that. So you need to follow and find a qualified guru.
我从不特别强调，像那个说到东巴是学啥呢？可能说到东巴来把内地的是过来是。在讲不东巴去呢，讲不东巴去，要不内地的是。我他给出龙出征，给出龙东巴学啥子呢？他给龙东巴学过呢，可能给龙东巴老9年， 他罗觉他唱的这徐呢，给我们把徐呢，娘家米吧，罗觉，罗觉，我是的，罗觉研究的，马大研究，在罗就你是那个发现，罗就你，这样的，我这虽然那这样的，虽然年轻嘛过的，我这是过的也是，我真强学生可多嘛，因为强学生可多嘛，那的这，我做过啥都是开心不为啥的。
So, for example, that means if you want to receive kind of a pratimoksha vow, individual liberation vow, like the refuge vow, then you must have a guru. You must get that from a guru who also holds that vow perfectly. Or if you want to become ordained, like a novice monk or nun, then the one who you receive that vow from must also have that vow, must keep that vow. And if you want to become a fully ordained, like a bhikshu, a fully ordained monk, then that teacher that gives you that vow must have kept that vow himself for at least 10 years, and some say even 12 years. So without any breaches, without any violations. So he must have perfectly held this vow for that long. Or if you want to receive the bodhisattva vow, then it also you must receive it from someone who actually abides by the bodhisattva principles. So that's very important.
我在这几天呢，我这你讲说，就有人有大伙儿给为一年提前通了，可以把强确身边都是有做起来，没通了是可以这老是吧？大伙儿给为一年就有了，对吧？进步通常可以把有吧？强确身边都了解有了，我做起来没通的是可以是，那老是吧？曾经一趟的呢。
And in the Bodhicharya Avatara, it defines such a qualified guru. It says that he basically must have two qualities, and that is, it must be someone who is very skilled in the Mahayana teachings. He's very knowledgeable about the Mahayana teachings. And secondly, he must also practice the bodhisattva discipline perfectly, even at the cost of his life. He must never step down from the bodhisattva conduct.
And then there is more qualities that such a qualified guru should possess. So, for example, he should also be very calm and disciplined, like peaceful and disciplined. Then he must be learned in the teachings, in the scriptures, and must love the disciples and not be aggressive or violent. And must have realization, and must be skillful in explanation, so in articulation of the teachings, and must be able to endure hardships. And a prime example of that, as we all know, is, for example, Garland Rinpoche. We all know his incredible ability to endure any hardship. 真的，当然做强学生比强学生懂吧？有的头先对吧？有吧？你把他们没从嘛，这一的主办牌子变过来。别是强懂吧了这样呢？写信投啊有吧？天天几把咱们没从嘛，在主办节投标。他成功的我学啥了吧？ 我这给别人才点的这样，这7万人吧，就是老不送了，这条嘛，这7万人吧，就是老想的这条嘛，类似，如果这7万上报是，这老呢，两年是为啥这空别特别大，这就让民呢是要上报着特别，这就这拉说呢，要不的什么，但是这就让民吧这拉，这都从那要不了嘛吧。
And so then, because such a qualified teacher possesses the bodhisattva vow, that is how their demeanor, their behavior is they're calm and peaceful, subdued, and they cause great joy in anyone who just sees them. And so that is also a kind of a defining mark. And then when we rely on such a spiritual teacher, it's also important that we learn good things from them and not bad things, only things that actually develop, increase our practice. If our conduct somehow deteriorates and just gets worse and worse, then that is of no benefit, and is of no benefit following that teacher.
我真的差不多不去，这种人多给别一年生意写当的，什么球了也怕拖吧，什么球可能一接拖的，一接拖的，这身边的人接拖吧，身边人接拖的，身边的人接有吧，光说从裁判就完了吧，这老板成绩上升单的球东阳面吧，我参与的，老板那么了，别讲了，但是球东阳在用中我在过的时候这边吧这看这个嘛，球东特别。上升米吧，上升米吧，现在的话，上升米的球动作吧。我这正在请你写上点吧，这就也是干部吧这种的吧。
And Gambopa said that a spiritual teacher must possess 4 characteristics, and so that is number 1. That teacher must have a certainty, a conviction, a certainty in the Dharma, in the teachings, in the profound Dharma. Then, secondly, the teacher must possess compassion for all sentient beings, and that the teacher must possess faith, unchanging faith in the Sri jewels. And then the teacher also must give the Dharma to sentient beings, show the Dharma to sentient beings without holding back.
我在我做公家，最初在新药才的，这一次公家那肯定那的新个，我是3年多了嘛，真的，但我7月都，就是我的耳朵那里哇，这话的那边看没错话的那个，这7月这种这里生病东亚什么都，但我做的是我们家是吧。
So now we will meditate for a little bit. Fupan was just looking for a bell or something, but he's somewhere else. He's in Arizona in the Lama house upstairs, and he can't find any bell anywhere. So we will just start without that. Because he doesn't get any signal for the internet in his retreat hut.
Yeah,
so now let's meditate.
老说他声音天天那个种我运动。
With dedication prayers. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind, root, and lineage lamas, divine assembly of Pidams and assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Yogins, Yoginis, and Dakinis dwelling in the 10 directions. Please hear my prayer. May the virtues collected in these 3 times by myself and all sentient beings in samsara and nirvana, and the innate root of virtue, not result in the 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as a Shravaka or Pratyeka Buddha. May all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm, misleading Maras, and the hordes of demons experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment, fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and through that may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise at the time of my death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of mind as such and the pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo.
정말 도대체 저는 좀더这一点多的可是呢但是那可能或是对么就是我呢这都没有可能最嘛头发在抢的话是
Oh, yeah.
这laptop 里面没有可头样就这么多
Oh, we're having some issues with the Zoom today. Normally people can just directly enter the Zoom room, but today they can't enter directly. I guess they have to be admitted.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Someone took the chairs. Thank you.
Next week.
Thank you, Jupongla. Thank you, Ina.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you. Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you, Jupong.